Okay, for all the people that have never seen this sort of thing before, it's going to blow your mind. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we're making a Honduran Tajadas. We are making a fantastic dish today, and this is inspired by Laura. Laura from the Facebook group. She made this and it is a fantastic inspiration. Now you can make this dish, and I've not made it for a very long time, I must confess, and I will surely be making it different to her, but it's inspired by Laura. So basically the Honduran Tajadas is fried green bananas as a base, and then you put shredded cabbage on, a chimol, your meat of choice, whether it be chicken, steak, mince, whatever you like, fish, it doesn't matter. A nice little salsa over the top, and a cooked salsa, and mayo, and oh, it's flavour bursting, it really is. It's a fantastic inspired dish. We're going to make it. On here I've got a piece of strip loin, sirloin. Now it's not the best looking, it's the end there, look, there's the sirloin, and this bit here you've got that fatty piece going through there, but not to worry, we need to clean this up. And I don't mean clean it up and cut everything off and blah blah blah. We're going to cut this off. We don't want it. Okay, we're going to cut this fat cap off. We don't want it. Don't be shocked, we're keeping it. We're going to cook with that. We're going to use that as our fat in the pan. So that's coming off. We're going to marinate the meat. Let's get on with it. Come on. So it's a straightforward job. You either get yourself a knife or some meat scissors and just take off that fat. We don't want that fat on there. Nice and steady. We do want the meat. So don't... Oh, these are not very sharp. I'll have to sharpen those. Oh, let's get in here with a knife. Oh, this is... Oh, they're terrible. Sorry about that. Right, in here, take off that fat cap. This bit here, you see, is normally, when you get a sirloin, this has got the extra bit of meat on. When you get a sirloin, normally you get this. And this fat that runs through there, you can't chew it. It's flipping awful. It's like chewing a bottom of a flip-flop. It's that hard. It really is. But, you know, we're going to use this fat to set our meat off in the pan. And because we're slicing through, we're not going to pay any attention to that bit of fat that runs through there. Okay? We're not too worried about that, but that is going to be our starter. Right, we have to make a marinade, so I'm going to just wash my hands a second, and then we're going to make a marinade. Just trim that off there as well, we don't want that. That can cook in the pan as well. You can always eat that. There you go. And this is what I like about this dish. These flavours are real Asian flavours that you would see in Asia. It's my taste. I love it. Okay, we want a couple of tablespoons of lime juice in that bowl. There you go. Want some orange juice. A couple of tablespoons of soy sauce. That's going to give us our salty umami flavour. A little bit of minced garlic. Teaspoon cumin. Teaspoon smoked paprika. About a teaspoon of dried oregano. A little bit of salt in there. And some black pepper. A little bit of oil. Give it a good mix. That is our marinade. Okay, grab yourself a bag. This thing's a sack, but there you go. That's all I've got. So we're going to chuck our meat in there. Let's put that to one side. We'll chuck our meat in there, and we're going to chuck our marinade in. Get the marinade in there. Close up your bag. So there we have it. That's our meat in there with our marinade, and all we're going to do is leave it in there, and we're just going to keep turning it over every now and again, just so it marinades on both sides for minimum of an hour, but if you can do it longer, brilliant. Okay, let's get rid of that. Next job, we need to be prepping up our cabbage, our chimol, our salsa, and we'll talk about the pickled onions because I have actually already made the pickled onions, but we will talk about how to do it. The reason I've already made them, I like the onions to have the pickle flavour. Right, I don't want that. Thinly grating or slicing the cabbage, and that is slice. That is enough cabbage for me, for what I need. So that is going in there. Basically what's going to happen is, when you put your fried bananas on the plate, and then you put some cabbage on there, and then you add everything else, and you put your mayo over and everything, this is going to be a bit like a coleslaw, really. You know, it's going to take the mayo on there and everything. Fantastic. We need to be putting together a salsa that we're actually going to cook. So we do want some pepper, want a little bit of onion, and we're going to dice it. Dice it any which way you like. Our red pepper. Now you can use green. I'm going for red because I'm going to use green jalapenos. Now jalapenos, not normally in, but I like jalapenos, so we're going to put them in. And I've got these fantastic tomatoes. So we're just going to chop some tomato. Oh, they look outstanding. Now, like I say, I am going to put a little bit of jalapeno in there. Optional, you don't have to. I just like that in there. And no, I'm not putting the seeds in. Not that I can't eat spicy. It's the damn thing sticking my teeth, or my lack of teeth. So there you go, that is our contents that we're going to fry. Right, we need to make up our chimol, and we want some red onion. Now we want to be coming in on this a reasonable dice. Something like that. Cucumber, you can take the skin off if you so wish. Now, what's a nice effect is take a little bit off and leave a little bit on. And then you get a little bit of green in there, dark green, as well as the green flesh of the cucumber. So we don't want those ends, obviously. Now, we want to cube it. So working any which way that you normally do. Again, we want to be dicing. It's all got to look the same. Now we want to be adding about a tablespoon of lime juice, and we want to be adding some salt. That's going to give us a freshen up in there. Stir it all in. Now a little pinch of cumin in there is nice. Chop up some coriander, put the coriander in, or cilantro, whatever you know it by. That's nice also. Or you can just keep it as a plain like this. Wow, look at those colours. Right, we need to be slicing our bananas. These were really green yesterday. They start to ripen overnight, but you know, they're still solid, they're rock hard, they'll be fine. But really, you should be using green bananas. I can't emphasize that enough. Everybody uses green bananas, but these have started to ripen. What we've got to do is we've got to slice them diagonally across. Just slice them diagonally, and then we're ready to fry. I have already made the red onions, like I say. You take the onions, the recipe in the description as per usual. You take your onion, you slice your onion nice and thinly, and then basically you take your vinegar, sugar, little pinch of salt, a little bit of water, put it in a pan, put it on the heat, and some sugar. Melt the sugar in there. Don't boil it, just melt the sugar. It doesn't take very long. Let it cool. Chuck it on your onions, put your onions in the fridge. Okay, we want to make up a mayo. Take some garlic and grate it. Mayo in a bowl. In there with that garlic. Again, lime juice. A little bit of water. Now what we're trying to do is make this a little bit runny. Give it a stir in. You could even put sugar in if it's too sour. That will be pourable on the top of our dish. A little quick cook on our salsa. Soften that down. Now you could cook the onions and that first and then throw in the tomatoes to thicken it up. But you know, I'm going to cook the whole lot together. Now we are trying to cook this a little bit dry and a little bit thick. You know, the tomatoes are going to thicken up in there. Okay, that's job done. What we need to do is put that back in a bowl, put a lid over, and it will steam soft. Now it is going to steam soft and it will release a little bit of juice. Don't worry about that, that's what we're after. Grab yourself anything that will fit over it, let it steam. Okay, when you've got your oil hot enough, in there with some of your bananas. Oi. Little stir around so they don't all stick together. Now in Asia it wouldn't be done like this. You would mix up a tempura watery batter, dip all your bananas in and then fry. Okay, when you've got them fried up, your nice little bananas, they need to be coming out of there. On there. Oh, listen to that. Okay, we want a pan on. And remember that fat. Let's have that fat in there. There you go. The dogs get that. Let's just turn that off a minute. The dogs get that. We've got the fat that we need to cook that steak. Now you cook the steak any which way like you normally cook your steak. Wow! There's some flavour right there. What a smell. Got a fantastic cumin smell coming out of that pan. And don't forget we got the scrag end here. But it should be just fine for the meat that we want. There you go, that's going to give us that grill effect there. It's got nice and smoky in there. Out in a tray and we cover. A little bit of foil on there. Okay, a very quick hot sauce. 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. A little bit of water. About 120 mils, quarter of a cup, something like that. Half a teaspoon garlic powder, a little bit of salt, half a teaspoon sugar, Cholula, about 1 to 2 teaspoons, up to you, whatever you like, about half a teaspoon of ground cumin, good mix in, and that is a quick red sauce, very quick. And we want a little, actually we want a little bit of lime juice in here or vinegar. We'll go lime juice. You've got to put that little bit of sour freshness through there. There we go. Quick red sauce. Cut and plate. Take that steak out of there onto there, and we want to be coming in. Come on. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See, there you go, look, this is what we were talking about at the start. That there is the rubbish that runs through there. So we can make it our life easier by coming under there. And we can just slice through. Oh, that is unbelievable. That is good quality right there. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, for all the people that have never seen this sort of thing before, it's going to blow your mind. Banana. Lay it out or chuck it on, up to you. Don't eat them all as you're plating up. A little bit of that cabbage on there. Decent amount of cabbage on there. It was a bit more actually. And then you want that cooked salsa on there. And there's some real flavour right there. Now you want to be taking your beef onto there. I mean, look at that. Already that looks absolutely fabulous. Want a little drizzle of our sauce through there. Now that is going to run down and put moisture in our cabbage. What a nice topping of our chimol on there. Come over the top and down the side. Come on, put that freshness in there. And then some of our mayo on there. A nice crown of mayo there. And top it with some of those red pickled onions. That really is something special. That is our Honduran tajadas made. Just look at that thing. That is sensational. The moment. Come on. Our bananas. This is a fantastic plateful. Look at our steak. It's nearly as pink as that red onion. Fantastic. Oh. That is fantastic. Obviously cook the steak any which way you like. I've got to dive in here, haven't I? Okay, let's have a couple of red onions. I love pickled red onion. Come through to our salsa. Come on. There's a whole plate full of flavour here. Bang. Salsa, fantastic. Got that lovely smoky flavour and that cumin in there. That chimol is absolutely fabulous. The whole dish is fantastic. I just can't get over how this beef's turned out like this. It's superb. That is Honduran tajadas made. Absolutely flavour bursting. Fantastic plateful. Inspired by Laura. Thank you, Laura. You jogged my memory and I'm glad we made it. So don't forget, share with your friends. Tell them how easy it is to make such a refreshing change on a dish. It is delightful. And if you do like what we're doing, big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell. And we'll catch you in the next video. Oh man, we are in here.